Hey, it's Dana. I'm here today to paint a fern leaf painting that I like to do that's quick and simple, and it's boho and it's cute, and I just like painting them. So I'm going to show you how to do that, so let's get started. Alright, so I'm just going to grab green and actually mix a little bit of yellow in there because I don't like the true green for this project. It's too rich and too kind of jungly, whereas I want more subtle. I'm also just going to add a little bit of black in there to darken it because I don't want it to be that bright green like I said. Okay, so it looks dark, but don't worry, when you pull the paint, you can tell where it's actually lighter. That's what you're going to see more because it's watercolor. It's going to be watered down. And I would like to start with a lighter leaf. So I'm going to just put the paint off my brush a little bit. I like to start at the top because then while my brush is pointy, and I'm going to go about here. That's not a very good point, so we'll come back to that. And just kind of swoop down to somewhere about there. And mine are kind of different shapes each time because that's what leaves do. They move. Now I'm just going to make tiny leaves at the top using my brush with the tip used as the leaf tip. I find I can get in the flow better if I do one side only first, but then it's hard to match them. Oh well. To make leaves, you start by putting your paintbrush down with the point and then smushing and getting wider. Technical term, people, smushing. Write that down. All right, point and smush. Point and smush. Now that one looks a little bit too skinny for this part of the leaf already, so we're gonna just add a little bit like that. And I try not to dip my brush in too much because otherwise the color gets different, but you also don't want to run out of paint and run out of wetness. Point and smush. Well, just like that, if you get a leaf that's darker, you just roll with it. And then I like to do a smaller one at the bottom. Alright, so that's the end of this fern leaf, and you can let it dry because when we're doing the next leaves, they're going to be on top. So you don't want to run through the wet leaves, but since it's the first layer, it should not take long to dry. While this is drying, I guess I should probably be more technical than point and smush. So that technique is by putting the point of your brush onto the paper as the tip of the leaf, and then as you're pulling away from that point, you press a little bit harder so your brush spreads out. So that creates the point first from your brush, and then the smush is when your brush gets wider, and then you're going to want to lift up again at the end so your brush bristles come back in to make a nice leaf shape. So that is the technical way of doing point and smush. I just think point and smush is way more fun. Okay, now that that part is dry, go back into your green and fill up your brush more. We want the color to be rich on this one. So the one down here is going to be a little small guy, and then this one can be similar size, but don't do them completely level up here because aesthetically that's just not as nice. Don't ask me why. I don't have a degree in this, but it just is. Okay, so this is too dark for my liking because we have to go back in and, well, we don't have to. I like to go back in and draw lines where the veins would be. I just do simple ones, but I still like to have them there, which means that this is too dark. So I'm going to quickly do the next row so that way it can pull paint from this section and hope that that's good enough to lighten it up. So now we're going to pull paint out and push it other places while it's still wet, so you got to kind of act fast. Okay, and since this is dry, oh no, that's okay. We will cover that up, I hope. Make sure you don't have paint on your finger when you go to tap and see if things are dry. That always happens to me because my brush will be covered in paint on the edges and I won't notice. Good times. We're going to do it again on this side, but this time it's going to be bigger than this one, but smaller than our first leaf. Okay, while I'm waiting for this to dry, I might as well tell a cheesy joke because that's fun. And I got it from a Laffy Taffy, so you might have heard it already, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to tell it to you because I like it. Hey, Matt, what do you call a sleepwalking priest?
I don't know, Dana. What do you call a sleepwalking priest?
A Roman Catholic. Oh, that joke got me through some pretty hard times in calculus in grade 12. My math teacher brought me a Laffy Taffy. It was a good time. Okay, so now I'm going to use the same color that I just used for the top leaves on top of the lighter leaves. And then we're going to make little lines for the veins. We don't want it to be too dark. Like that. Miracle. Okay. We don't want it to be too dark. Oh my gosh. All right, brush. You can cooperate. Okay, so now you're going to want to get some darker green on your brush so that way it shows up on our darker green leaves. So what I like to do is probably get my brush a little bit wet, tap the black just a little bit. I just have some black dried up watercolors over here. So just a little bit, grab some green, mix it somewhere. Okay, that's looking good. I might need more. Okay, and then roll your brush by twisting it so that way it creates the point again. And go on in. Oops. Start on over. And then go on in for the veining. If it leaves too much paint on there, that's okay. I'm going to come back to it. You know, what you could do is use this weird thing that I never use called a smaller brush. I've done this painting probably like 5 to 10 times, and I only now thought of this. So there you go. You could use a smaller brush. That'd be really helpful. Okay, so that part's done. Even if it doesn't look perfect, that's fine. At least that's how I like my paintings, to be a little bit funky, because I'm not an expert. I just really enjoy painting. The last step, which you can do now at any point, is I like to get my brush really wet with green. You can change how watered down it is, whatever you'd like. but this is why I tape the edges so that way this step does not go all over the place. So I'm going to take some paint on my brush, get it really wet. If you need to, add some water because we are going to flick and splatter to add some funkiness to the painting because it's fun. Do as much or as little as you want. You could vary, you could do some dark splatters, some with a little bit more watered down, some that are small, some that are big. It's always so hard not to do too much. I should just do a splatter painting one day. Because I'm obsessed with this, even though some people are like, why do you do this? I'm like, because it's watercolor paint. What other paint do you get to do this with? So much fun. So I do this on my paintings every once in a while. Now, I should do a splatter painting. I would have so much fun. Even if it doesn't look good, I would just enjoy it. Okay, so now it's crucial that you leave it to dry before touching it because otherwise you'll smear all these beautiful dots you just made. You can take the paint off carefully. If you got some on your table like me, it's watercolor paint, so even if it dries, a wet cloth will wipe it off, no problem. Thanks for watching this video of me painting my fern leaf watercolor. If you like this video, definitely go subscribe to our channel, but also go check out my Etsy shop. The link is on our page. And I sell paintings like this one and many more that are nature inspired, and if you could support me, that would be awesome. I'm trying to pay off my student loans, and I really enjoy painting, so it's really great to have an outlet where I can share it with other people so I don't just hoard all the art on my walls and have no wall space left. So, please go check out my Etsy shop, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!